Rises to all of you viewers of Equinoxe Television, welcome back from the weekend. Thank you so much for joining us on this edition of the news. Our major stories tonight: heavy rains which battered the city of Douala and other towns across the country over the weekend have caused the loss of lives and enormous material damage. Our reporters made a stop over at some localities in Douala where houses were damaged or destroyed and children were swept off by running water. We'll be bringing to you details of what happened here in Douala in this edition of the news. And political actors in the country are expressing worries over a possible extension of the mandates of members of parliament. A bill to that effect has been tabled at the National Assembly. We bring to you various reactions in this news edition. Those are our major stories. Details when we come back. Welcome back, viewers. Thank you so much for the confidence. The wall of the University of Douala at a locality called Footbridge in the Douala 5 area collapsed after heavy rainfall in the city of Douala across over the weekend on the night of Sunday to Monday. And some meters away in Makepe Misoke Bridge also fell due to the heavy rains. Let's now have more of what happened in the city of Douala with our reporter, Cedric Chakutu.
Parts of a wall on the floor. Heavy rainfall experienced in the city of Douala on Sunday, breaking Monday. We are at Footbridge Isek and Raphael, a neighborhood in the Douala 5 subdivision. According to an eyewitness, the wall was already fragile.
Ce qui s'est passé, c'était aux environs de 22 heures, on était assis, complètement le mur a lâché. C'est d'abord un mur depuis un certain moment, le mur à risque. Le mur est vraiment à risque de plus de 4 mois aujourd'hui. Bon, Dieu a voulu, c'était dans la nuit. Et personne était en train de passer à l'heure.
Ça a cassé la route à cet endroit. Voilà la boutique d'une dame que ça a cassé. Il y a une coiffure là, ça a aussi cassé ça. Alors quand on viendra faire les travaux ici, on ne regardera pas. Et pourtant, c'est ici que cette dame-là nourrit sa famille, les enfants, qui vont aller à l'école dans bientôt.
Over to Makepe Misoke, still in the Douala 5 subdivision, this bridge was also destroyed due to the heavy rainfall. Because of this situation, inhabitants find it difficult to move in and out of the area.
Non, oui, même pour avoir accès au quartier, on a eu beaucoup de difficultés pour pouvoir entrer dans nos quartiers. La plus mauvaise chose qui nous met mal à l'aise, c'est ces drainages qui nous ont promis, qui n'a jamais été fait. Si on pouvait vraiment respecter ce drainage qu'on a eu à nous dire.
As the rainy season intensifies, local authorities call for more vigilance.
And 2 boys aged 19 and 21 also lost their lives following heavy rains in Douala over the weekend. We'll be bringing to you the details and also the images in the course of this newscast. Meantime, pedestrians plying the stretch leading to the Douala International Airport, precisely at Gardefu, say the road is now unsafe for them. Why? They were reacting following an accident which was caused by a heavy-duty truck which damaged the lone footbridge in that area. Lucy Liengu Esier was there. She now tells us more.
A heavy truck on high speed destroys a footbridge located at Gardefu, a place situated between the St. Michael roundabout and the Douala International Airport. As a result, several persons have been injured and the footbridge broken. An eyewitness says an aged woman crossing the bridge at the time of the incident incurred injuries and some youth went unconscious. Another witness says the truck was overloaded and the driver was on high speed. The situation caused congestion along the stretch until the arrival of council agents from the Douala City Council who removed the truck and part of the broken bridge was taken off. Road users are now obliged to work on the road, which according to them is very risky. However, the population plead on authorities to rehabilitate the footbridge so as to avoid the occurrence of accidents.
That's right, Lucy. The people there say they fear the bridge might collapse at any moment. Now we talk politics over to one of our lead stories. Politicians of the opposition are bringing criticisms on President over the bill tabled in Parliament to extend the mandates of members of Parliament. The bill is considered undemocratic and unfair use of powers conferred on him by what is qualified as bad laws legislated by limping legislature. Babila Jonathan reports.
Opposition politicians take to task the Cameroon government over maneuvers to extend the mandate of members of parliament in view of postponing next year's legislative, regional and municipal elections.
By so doing, he's indirectly excluding some of his adversaries who want to maybe challenge him in upcoming presidential elections.
This is a violation of the law of this land. And Maurice Kamto said it before and said for government to be in order politically with this nation, they should do everything to respect the electoral calendar.
President Paul Biya is accused of being democratically unfair vis-a-vis his challengers in the presidential race on grounds that the reasons advanced for the postponement, notably financial constraints, are not valid.
It's however regrettable that we're witnessing a foul game being played by the President of the Republic, because as he stands, the President of the Republic is that person who is the guarantor of the democracy of this country, and even though it is within his powers to send a bill to Parliament to extend the mandate of parliamentarians, but he's not being fair play.
However, parties like the Cameroon Renaissance Movement remain determined to end the 4-decade reign of President Paul Biya.
For you to be a presidential candidate, there is the independent candidate if you fulfill the requirement. Number 2, you can come through a political party if you fulfill the requirement as a candidate given by that party to run for presidential election. Nothing more. We are looking at those options and we shall fulfill them. We are going in for presidential elections.
Earlier, the Cameroon Renaissance Movement National President, Professor Maurice Kamto, said he is ready for the worst to bring about change at the helm of the state. A statement considered as a plan to orchestrate chaos, attracting criticism from House Speaker Kaweyeke Jibril and warnings from Territorial Administration Minister Atanganji Paul.
We will be talking more on that in the second part of the news. Now we talk something else. Inhabitants of Mator village in the Konya subdivision of the southwest region have requested that local authorities take particular attention on the lack of social amenities in that area. Mator village, considered as a red zone in the early stages of the Anglophone crisis, is now experiencing relative calm. Smanji Gabriel now takes us to Mator, a village which is not far away from Kumba, but situated in the Konye subdivision.
The road network getting into Mator village, a locality of Konye subdivision, remains a huge problem to its inhabitants who are all farmers.
To evacuate our cocoa, it is difficult since vehicles, trucks cannot ply the road. We have very difficult times evacuating our cocoa to the market like in Konye. The price of cocoa here is not good because of the road.
Mator village, once described as a red zone at the peak of the Anglophone crisis, is now enjoying relative calm.
The security situation here is good as compared to the past years where we used to have those 2 amber camps, because they are no more there. Time and again the military comes and visits to see that people are really calm. At first we had in schools, now we are boast of about 4 primary and a secondary school. So if people are coming back home, people should not be scared of staying in Mator. I'm there, we are there. I've lived in Mator peacefully for the past 2-3 years.
Unfortunately, due to the poor state of road, summoning an inhabitant to answer a complaint filed against him out of Mator village is a difficult one.
The government cannot quickly intervene into problems that we are having. When you convocate somebody, if he does not attend, it is difficult to arrest the person. So we try to use traditional means to sanction people if they default.
Apart from the lack of a good road network to Mator village, inhabitants of Mator village lack medical medical facilities, forcing the mothers to use traditional means to attend to some of their health problems.
We are left for here to get this.
Since we have our leaves here, when something goes bad, we sit and agree on the type of leaf to use. With God by our side, we have always succeeded in our treatment.
God to go support we, the thing will be in a successful way.
The youths of Mato are now calling on the mayor of Konye Council and the government to open their roads as well as create a hospital to cater for their health.
Now let's have the images of what happened at Valle Besenge before we go out of the country. 2 boys aged 19 and 21 have lost their lives. We told you a while ago at Valle Besenge here in Douala after heavy rains, which increased the tides of the drainage system in that area. That was over the weekend. The 2 boys reportedly were competing on who can swim better after betting with 5,000 francs CFA. The young men were unfortunately carried away by the heavy runoff at Valle Besenge, and the family of the 2 guys and also neighbors remain inconsolable. Shaw will be coming with details in our subsequent news editions. Now out of Cameroon, French Left Alliance has won most of its seats in the lower house of parliament, while the far-right parties failed to carry the first round victory. The Left Alliance secured 178 seats, topping the far-right parties with 143 seats. Elsewhere, leaders of the Economic Community of West African States have met in an urgent meeting in Abuja, Nigeria, to discuss the risk of 3 of its bloc's members walking away. And Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger on Saturday signed the Alliance of Sahel States Treaty, which is seen as a goodbye to ECOWAS. Innocent Aze with more on the stories.
Leaders of the Economic Community of West African States gathered at the summit, which opened on Sunday, to discuss the implications of the Alliance of Sahel States, a treaty signed by 3 of its member countries, Mali, Burkina Faso and Niger, whose juntas seized power in a series of coups in the 3 states. While meeting in Abuja, Nigeria, the ECOWAS leaders noted that the region risked disintegration and worsening insecurity after Niger, Burkina Faso and Mali made clear their intentions to leave the bloc by signing the Confederation Treaty. The Alliance of Sahel States Treaty, signed on Saturday, underscored the 3 countries' determination to wave final goodbye to the 15-member ECOWAS, which has been urging them to return to democratic rule. Omar Touré, ECOWAS Commission President, said the freedom of movement and a common market of 400 million people, which are major benefits for ECOWAS, will be under threat if the 3 countries walk away. He added that funding of economic projects worth over $500 million in Burkina Faso, Mali and Niger could also be stopped or suspended. Elsewhere, France has elected 577 members of the National Assembly, the country's lower house of parliament. In a turnaround from the first round of voting, a coalition of left-wing parties, the New Popular Front won the most seats but fell short of an absolute majority. Voters went back to the polls a week after handing Marine Le Pen and her far-right party, the National Rally, an emphatic victory in the first round of the legislative election. In the days following the result, the New Popular Front and President Emmanuel Macron's party pulled candidates who were ranking 3rd in an attempt to consolidate votes against the far right. That was enough to secure 178 seats for the Left Alliance and 156 for Macron's centrist bloc. Far-right parties were only able to convert 143 seats. Last Sunday's vote saw the highest number of three-way race in French voting history. Before candidates' withdrawals, and voters were expected to choose from 3 candidates or more in 62% of contest.
Thanks, as that report brings us to the end of the first part of the news talking point. Comes up next, don't go anywhere. Welcome back, viewers. So our guest tonight is Barrister Don Christopher. He is a political actor, and we are talking about the imminent extension or prolongation of the mandates of members of parliament. Barrister, thank you so much for accepting to be our guest on Talking Points tonight. Now, a bill has been tabled on Parliament, you already know, for the extension of the mandates of parliamentarians. Now, what, according to you, can be some of the reasons which pushed the MPs to think of prolonging their mandate?
Says for you to be a presidential candidate, there is the independent candidate. Why they are afraid of holding elections? It is because they have dubious intention. These are people who do not want to see the necessary peace in this country. People have been reduced to nothing. There is high cost of living. They should put a bill to reduce the trend of living in this country in Parliament. They have not done it. They are only hoarding high price hikes on petrol and many other petroleum products. They are not bringing the project in Parliament so that we can revise it and bring it down low. They have done everything. Nothing they have done. The economy is dwindling. They are people who have stolen money in this country. Corrupt people are in the government. Why are they not opening up a parliamentary inquiry to get these people to book? Yet they only think of how to maintain themselves to power. All of that because they know they had frauded the election by having a obese majority in Parliament. When they send any rubbish, they'll be happy to pass. It profits only the parliamentarian because they will extend their mandate. Why are they themselves? They are not very sure themselves, the parliamentarians, to run for election and come back to that parliament. That is why they are happy.
So the MPs claim the extension is due to lack of financial resources to organize 4 elections next year. Can that be valid? Can that be a valid reason, considering that the electoral calendar is very clear?
Postponing it. For what reason? The reason they are giving is very limping and weak. They cannot say it is because there are 4 elections. When they were frauding and masterminding, machinating things before, when we used to tell them, this twin election thing, before we had single election, parliamentary, we had council elections singly, we had presidential elections singly. They brought in Senate elections. Now, all 4 have come and hook on their neck, including regional elections. Why couldn't they do the judgment before to space out this election, given the fact that they will know that one day they will come to a point where there will be no money to run 4 or 5 elections at the same time?
Barrister, do you think there was or there is any other way to go about that with the limited financial power the MPs are trying to push forward as a reason?
There is no substance because these are only Machiavellic plans they are putting. Let them say there is no money. They hold the council and the parliamentary elections and then presidential elections. Then they postpone the rest. The other 2 that are remaining, they can now postpone those ones. If they don't have money, we will know that they would have held the municipal and parliamentary elections and they are short of money. Then they hold the presidential elections. Not all 4 will hold in that year. They can take the order in the order of arrival. You cannot come and remove. Okay, if now they remove and you start seeing them holding presidential election, where is the money coming from? And the municipal and parliamentary elections, they are shifting. It is a diabolic act they are doing. They are a wicked people. They don't want democracy in this country. They want to maintain themselves into power.
And now, beside your viewpoints, Barrister, opposition politicians see the move as a violation of democratic principles. What do you think about that?
A violation because they themselves put those obnoxious laws into the Constitution. You remember this Constitution was put up in 1996. Revised all over again. They only put things that will suit them. It doesn't suit the general interest of the population. It doesn't suit democracy. It doesn't suit the institutions. What they do is only for their personal interest. It is in the law, yes. But what is the reason? The same law says before they postpone election, they should give a reason. The reason they have given is no reason. Those elections should hold without any problem. That there is no reason. There is no reason to say that because there are 4 elections. They are the ones who made it to become 4. The law is expressed that, do you know that the same law says when they vote councillors and parliamentarians, they have 5 years? Why are they now violating the 5 years? Now you see the thing they want to add it into the law to say that the president have the power to prolong the mandate of parliamentary and council election. It is things which we have been crying before, that what they are adding there, it is bad. But because they always fraud steal election to be in the majority, they begin to vote laws that are senseless, useless, have no bearing, no meaning. They are violating the democratic rights, they are violating the constitution of this country, they are violating the electoral law, they are violating the law of mandates. They don't have any right to be pushing people's mandate. That provision that gave them the right to do it was a CPDM decision. It's not a decision where Cameroonians will sit, jurists of this nation will sit, intellectuals of the nation will sit and accept that kind of thing to be inscribed into the law of a nation. So let me tell you, because they did that with their diabolic intentions, that is why they think that they should hold on it and start telling us the law says, the law says. Those are bad laws. If we take power, we'll scrape them off.
Now, Barrister, maybe we try to keep emotions aside. Can you now tell us what exactly the law says about prolonging or extending the mandates of members of parliament?
The law says for you to be a presidential candidate, there is the independent candidate if you fulfill the requirement. Number two, you can come through a political party if you fulfill the requirement as a candidate given by that party to run for presidential election. Nothing more. We are looking at those options and we shall fulfill them. We are going in for presidential elections. Since they are already voting, they are voting the law to shift the election, we will wait. We are peaceful people. We will always wait. They are trying to manipulate people in this country, but there is time for everything to come to an end one day. And that day will come when it will be that day. They themselves, they will start looking for where they will live. Because they will live with us and see how we run a country, not the type that they are doing. So we shall go in for the presidential election that is coming.
Thank you so much, Barrister Don Christopher, for accepting to be our guest on Talking Point tonight. Viewers, thank you so much for being with us. Don't go away. Our programs continue. Equinoxe comes up at 7 p.m. and the news in the French language comes up at 8 p.m. Stay with us on Equinoxe Television. Bye-bye for now and see you again tomorrow, God willing.